Hi everyone, guess what I have? 3 of the YSL liquid blushes. I found these at Nordstrom, and by found, I literally mean I was wandering through Nordstrom, I was making a return, and I saw them on like an end cap in the makeup section, just sitting out, ready to swatch and buy, and I haven't seen these in the US before. I know that they were launched. They haven't even made it to like the UK yet, so I haven't been able to order them off Selfridges. Anyway, I was so excited because I've been seeing swatches of these online and they just haven't come to the US yet, and I hadn't seen a launch date for them yet, and the closest I had seen to a launch date was October. And that was kind of distressing because it's August and October feels really far away, and to know that they're out in the world and not in my world just bums me out. I bought 3 of them. There are a total of 6 shades. My Nordstrom had 5 shades. And the shade I did not get, there was a berry I didn't get, and then like a lighter pink kind of nude color, like a pink beige. I didn't get that one. I wanted to, but I had to draw a line, as you know. And the shade that they did not have at all was a very light lilac that I've seen swatches of. So let's go ahead real quick. We're gonna swatch these. They're weird colors, which is one of the reasons I was very excited for these. This is the shade 57. They have names on the boxes. They don't have names on their packages, which kind of always drives me nuts about YSL. Why name it if you're not going to put the name on the package? Only numbers. Okay, so the next one is shade 37. Right? In my wheelhouse. Pretty typical. And then the last one I got is shade 66, which I believe is called Fuchsia Fling. Pink, but kind of a different pink. It's not, I don't know, just a different pink than a lot of the pinks I've been seeing. One of these two, one is called Coral Clash and one of them has peach in the name. Not that it's gonna matter. I have worn these a couple of times. We'll talk about how they apply as they apply. I like that the shades feel different than the Armani shades, but the formulas to me are quite similar. I'm going to put this on my acrylic palette and pull the product from there. We're blush swatching. We've been through this. So I'm going with that lightest kind of almost neon peach color. I obviously have my makeup down, but no powder. They're almost like a gel. Almost gel feeling, but just a little drier than you would consider a gel, which I hope makes sense. So that's one layer of that neon peach kind of color. And I think it's looking pretty good, right? It doesn't really bother the makeup underneath. Making a lot of noise. I'm gonna go in with another dab. Really interesting little applicator too. Like their concealer, it's just a little bit bigger. Okay, so second layer of that light peach. I like that color. I like this color a lot. I like that because, okay, I'm excited, so I have to calm myself down. One of the things that I like about this is that this color looks very light, and I do believe that there's a significant white base there. So this is the Armani shade in 31, and they're just a little different, and so with this one being as pale as it is, I really didn't expect that it would show up on me, and I think it shows up on me in like a neon way as opposed to a pastel way. And I don't understand enough about color and pigment to really articulate the difference in that very well, so I hope that makes sense, because pastels and neons both have white in them. It's just different. Like, it's just different. And I don't understand it. So this one I think looks really pastel, but kind of goes on a little neon, which I really enjoy, is the point of that. Now I'm going to go in on the other side with shade 37. And I'm going to do that the same way. And this color kind of surprises me on as well. You can see there. It feels like it goes on with a little bit more pink to it. It's not pink, but it looks pinker on the cheek than I think it does in the swatch. So those are those two colors. And they kind of feel like they're cousins, but then on the cheeks they don't. But in the tube, right, you can almost see how they would be related. But then on the cheeks, they feel pretty different from one another. I'm going to take off this one, and then we're going to go in with Fuchsia Fling. Pink is so out of my comfort zone. So YSL, once upon a time, did have liquid blushes that I had never tried. And I think one of the things that's really interesting is this is like the year that so many luxury brands are like revamping their lines. And I think that's really exciting. It's horrible financially, but it's really exciting to see so many brands feel like they're reinvigorating their makeup lines. And I have a lot of like theories about why that might be true and a lot of things I wish I could have answered, but it's just been nice to see brands update products, re-release things, and just kind of update packaging even so that it feels a little bit more modern. That was like, okay, I'm gonna show you my gross little palette, but this is the dot of Fuchsia Fling. So I did one dot from the doe foot, and I used maybe half of that dot and got pretty intense color, just so you know. And you saw me just kind of tap to blend out. And I like this pink on me, even though it is, like I said, it's outside of my comfort zone. Now, overall, these do wear very well on me. I think they have a little less matte finish than the Armani ones. They still will do that thing where they're kind of playing with the foundation finish underneath of them. And that's because they're a thin formula. So anything that's thin usually will kind of adapt to what's underneath it. But they wear well. I think they look really nice. I like, the other thing that I'm kind of enjoying about some of these blushes is it feels like the undertones are just not average. I don't know if you remember, but a couple summers ago, there were 3 or 4 brands that released the same shades in almost identical packaging of blush. One of them, it was like Sunday Fridays was one of the ones that released blush, and it was like, what? And then I think that was also when like Persona launched their blushes, and there was at least one other brand, and they all released these cream blush sticks that all look the same. The colors were nearly identical. Formula, you know, like formulas were really similar, and it was just like, what are we doing? And since then, Persona has really like expanded their blush line. So, you know, whatever, it was an initial launch, but it just kind of made blush feel really repetitive, really uninspiring. And then even with powder blushes, a lot of brands were doing this thing where they'd launch 5 shades, 6 shades, but they were like all the same. It was like, you're gonna have a blue pink, you're gonna have a beige, you're gonna, you know, like it was a very like, oh, of course that's your blush range. That's everyone's blush range. And so now seeing these blushes come out, and you're still getting a pink, a coral, you know, that kind of thing, but they're playing with those undertones a little bit more. They're making a little bit more nuanced so that there is more variety. And I think that additional variety really allows consumers to find the blush shade that will work for them or that excites them and inspires them. And don't get me wrong, we're still seeing trendy colors. Orange, very trendy. Lavender, very trendy. And I think lavender is just that extreme from the blue pink. Let's go bluer, let's go lighter. But either way, like there's trendy colors and then there's this nuance that's also happening kind of at the same time alongside of it. And that nuance is really exciting to me. I also I don't mind that lavender and orange are really trending right now because I love orange. And lavender has been overlooked for a really long time as a potential blush color. So that kind of just, it's a way to make it exciting, but then everyone's making it exciting in that same lavender way. Anyway, I've really been enjoying these YSL liquid blushes. I've seen teasers that they're coming out with powder blushes too. Their powder blushes have been unavailable in retailers, like in-person retailers, for such a long time because they haven't updated or released anything interesting in a while. So I'm excited to see the new powder blushes come out. No idea dates or anything like that, or even a shade range. I've seen the same teaser of the same single shade, so we'll see when and what. But I have been enjoying these. If you already purchased the Armani ones, you probably don't need to purchase these as well, unless, you know, you bought one shade of Armani and you're curious about a different shade in the YSL. I could see that being a practical way to try both formulas, but they are, in my experience so far, quite similar. One of the things I want to do, but I don't really know how best to aggregate the information, is just have like a spreadsheet of formula comparisons. And not that looking at an ingredient list tells you everything, but just to give an idea of like how significantly different ingredients are as one possible indicator of like, is it worth bringing an additional formula into your collection? Anyway, I think they do behave relatively similarly. I think the undertones between the two lines are quite different, so you might find something more appealing in one over the other, but you don't need all of them from both of them, is kind of the point. But I tried to get shades that are a little bit different than the ones that I purchased in Armani, and I'm pleased with them. I was very excited to see the Nordstrom. Let me know if you find them. Let me know if you're excited about these. Again, I have no idea when they're supposed to be out, if they were already out, but sometimes retailers jump the gun a little, and I love it. All right, anyway, so just another blush video as usual. I'm wondering when it will be impossible for me to make new blush videos every week. That's gonna be an interesting time. I guess I didn't make any last week. Technically, I did record a video about blush, but I didn't post anything last week. Sorry about that. It was just a weird migraine kind of week. Hopefully this week is different, better. You know what's funny is I actually have to go to the post office because on Mercari, I sold a blush. It's just blush every day in all ways. All right. I hope this was interesting. Hope it was helpful. Let me know what you're thinking about the new YSL liquid blushes. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.